Joining the show today is one of us by way of the 47th overall selection in the 2022 NHL Draft. Also, newly crowned Memorial Cup champion, Hunter Haight. Hunter, appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We ask everyone this question right away. First time you saw the Minnesota Wild logo, as goofy as it is, what did you see? Like, what did you think it was?
So when I was a kid growing up, I honestly didn't know what it was. And it was only till I got drafted that I realized it was I see it as a bear anyway. And then the sunset and the scenery, I always saw the trees and the sun behind it. But it wasn't until I got drafted that I actually saw that there was an animal as a part of the logo. So
do you like that? Do you like that it's like a little bit of a brain teaser, or is it just almost too much?
I think it's awesome. I think it's a really cool logo. It has, a bunch of different aspects that go into it. I know the North Star's in there too. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's hard to figure out what to make as a mascot for the name Minnesota Wild, though.
Yeah,
they have Nordy, so you can go with a bear. It's kind of hard to put that in perspective. Like Wild as a mascot or actual thing.
Sure.
Well, as you saw, the Fellowship of the Rink is the name of our podcast. A little sick tap to our love of Lord of the Rings. And I wasn't sure if you are the Lord of the Rings fan or if you have a nerd itch that you like a movie series or book series or collect cards, stamps, whatever. Is there anything that's kind of a fun quirk you have off the ice that you're passionate about?
I don't know, honestly. I don't follow the Lord of the Rings or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, how about give us a favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I love military movies.
Okay.
So probably Lone Survivor, Act of Valor, movies like that. They're really good.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan, probably one of my favorite ones. Saving Private Ryan, probably a little bit before your time, I guess, but really good movie. I thought, especially when you just came off D-Day here, to kind of look at the way they had the opening scene was pretty incredible for that. Speaking of pretty incredible, you just had your Memorial Cup experience. Just what was the last minute and a half or so for you as a player, be part of it? Just watching it on TV, you're like, this game's going double overtime, right? This game's bonkers. What was the mood and the emotions on the bench?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we were riding such a high going into the third period up 3-0. And yeah, those last, 7 minutes, they end up tying it up, and a lot of emotions on the bench. You're trying to stay even keel and move on and focus on what's coming up. But in that last minute, Chris Lasry, our coach, he comes over and mentions that he's going to put me on with Owen Beck and Josh Bloom to finish the game. And that shift was crazy. There's a couple block shots. We came out of the zone twice. And then, Donovan made a beautiful play to catch that puck and get it on net. And, we were lucky enough to score. So it was crazy.
It has to be a really, great moment to be trusted to be put on the ice in the last, because you've been a scorer a lot of your career, but to be able to be trusted, hey, close it down for us, bring it in. That has to be such a cool moment, or feeling that trust from your coaching staff.
Yeah, it was awesome. Throughout the playoffs, I was playing wing here and there. And, if there were moments in games where we needed to score or we were looking for offense, Laz put that line together quite often. So it was pretty cool and an honor for him to, lean on me in that situation. So
nice. And
so what? Go ahead, Scott.
I was just going to ask, because obviously you won the championship. That is all you care about. Does it at least feel just a little bit weird as a Canadian boy bringing the Mem Cup to the States for the first time since 2008?
I mean, I honestly don't know. I don't think it's weird or anything. I mean, we're still part of the OHL, but I guess it was the first time it was in Michigan there. So I guess it's cool for those American fans that, follow the OHL to have it brought back there for them. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But I thought you were kind of grew up around London, right? So were you a Knights fan? Did you go to games as a kid? I don't know how weird that was a dynamic for your family of.
Yeah, so I'm basically like right in the middle between Sarnia and London. So growing up, I was going to both games. I was always at London games, always at Sarnia games. And then when Travis Konechny, when he got to the OHL, he played for my minor hockey organization with the Chiefs there. So when he got into his OHL career, every time he was in Sarnia or London, I was following him. And then he got traded to Sarnia. So then I was at every single game. And, you know, I really looked up to him as a kid growing up and now as he's in the NHL and, you know, I'm making my way up.
Yeah. Any other guys like that, whether it's from your community or just guys you've watched in the NHL at large that you've either just admired watching or guys you've tried to model your game after?
I don't know. I don't really model my game after anyone in particular. I think I just, you know, I grew up around certain players like Trav and, you know, Lawson Krause. And, you know, I'm lucky enough to train in London over the past, like, you know, 9 years. I've been training at TPH in London, and there's a good core group of, you know, pro guys, NHLers that are pretty substantial players. So I got to, you know, grow up and learn off of them and train with them, especially over these last 2 years. So, you know, guys like Boone Jenner and Bo Horvat, Lawson Krause, like I mentioned, Konechny, and then all the younger guys too now, like, you know, Nick Suzuki, Ryan Suzuki, Jordan Kyrou, Dylan Cousins, like they're all in this group. And, you know, it's really good for someone like me who's aspiring to be at that level one day and to train with them and see what they're doing, learn from them. Yeah, it's awesome.
What's the cup celebration like in the locker room afterwards? I know like other levels, it's like you're spraying Bud Light or champagne everywhere like that. Obviously with junior kids, it's going to be a little bit different, but like, what was the celebration like post?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was awesome. You know, family, friends, you know, even girlfriends, they're all in there to celebrate with us. There was, you know, a couple of champagne bottles popped, and yeah, it was really just a good time.
Then the parade was a couple days later. Like, did you guys all have like convertibles you guys were sitting on, or like what's the like parade like float look like for you guys?
They had like a flat wagon for an 18-wheeler, and we were all on there. And you know, there's a couple of fancy cars leading the way, and people everywhere. Yeah, and it just we kind of went through downtown there, and then there was a bit of a ceremony at the Jolt Center across from the rink there with all the fans. So it was pretty cool.
What's your most vivid memory or speech from that whole experience? Or anybody who said something pretty crazy, or anybody who like your teammates? I heard a lot of the videos post game. Guys were pretty a little loose lipped there afterwards. So I don't know what the
yeah they were going crazy. No, it was just pretty. It was pretty funny to see. You know, there's an open mic just sitting there, and we're all up on stage, and guys would just go up to the mic and, you know, just scream that we're champions or whatever. They're taking turns. So it was kind of funny, but
it's not looking like he's going to fall to the Wild at 13, but hey, you never know what happens draft day. And maybe the Wild decide this is the year they want to trade up. Give the sales pitch. Why should Judd Brackett and Bill Guerin be taking your boy Zayne Parekh?
I mean, there's so many reasons when it comes to his offensive game, how smart he is as a player. Even his defensive side of the game. I mean, he's got a great stick. He never really gets beat one-on-one. Yeah, his creativity with the puck at the blue line and his ability to join the rush and create offense for his teammates and see plays is incredible. And I mean, he just, you know, had a record-breaking season. I don't know how many records he broke, but there's a lot of them, and he's done it back-to-back years. So, no, he's just impressive. He's an impressive kid as well, away from the rink. He's a really good kid. He's pretty humble too. You know, and that's important as a kid and as a part of your character. And yeah, he's just a really awesome guy to be around. And yeah, he's special. I mean, just watching him, I'm sure you see what he's all about. So yeah.
Growing up, I know you had a lot of influences in your life. Your parents, obviously, your brother, like your dad, you know, being part of like the police, you know, like what how much did you get immersed into that? Like, did you go on ride-alongs? Like, do you get part of, like, go to the station and check out some crazy stuff? Or like, what was that initial, when you were a kid, like having a dad as a cop?
Yeah. Well, he was with the provincial SWAT team for a while there when I was younger, and I would go to work with them, quite often. I'd be there all the time. They had a gym there, and I'd get to run around, do whatever, meet all the guys, spend time with them, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool to see armored trucks and bomb robots and all those things. Not many kids get those experiences, and to be around it all the time growing up as young as 6 years old, it was really cool for me. And my dad was a leader within that organization, that team, and being brought up in that and seeing how a team functions and what it takes for a team to function, it's really cool. And I think it was huge in my character development growing up. So yeah, it's really cool. And I mean, my brother, he's in the Canadian Armed Forces. He's just going on his last year here. And then he's looking to get into policing as well. So it's pretty cool for both of us.
Do you think you would have gotten involved in that if you didn't take the hockey route? Or like, was that something that kind of like, if you were to do something else other than hockey,
Yeah, most likely. That's probably what I would have done. I absolutely loved being there with my dad. And my brother went the military route, and that's probably where I'd go to. And if not, I'd probably find myself somewhere in the automotive industry. I absolutely love cars. So yeah.
What's the go-to car? Like, what's the dream car when you get your first big payday?
It's a tough one to answer. I don't know, like probably like a Porsche 911, like a Turbo S, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many.
Do you just like love the cars, or are you a guy that wants to go out and hit track day, or?
I don't know. Like I've never done that. I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it's something probably down the line I'll be doing. But yeah, I've always loved the different brands. Watching YouTube videos on all these different cars, and watching drag races and all that stuff. So yeah, it's just something I've picked up growing up, and I really like it. So.
Did your brother play hockey too, or no?
Yeah, he did. He played AAA all the way up until midget, and then midget he just decided he wanted to have fun with his buddies, and yeah. So
I wasn't sure how the age difference. Are you able to compete against him growing up at anything, or was it too much of a gap there?
I played with him when I was like really young, like Tyke age. I played up with him, but no, he's 2 years older than me, so he didn't play too often with each other.
What's your mom like? How was she able to kind of corral the three of you guys are in the group and keep you guys in line?
Yeah, my mom's awesome. It was really nice. I mean, having a dad that was, a police officer and gone often for calls. My mom ran a home daycare out of our house, and she was at home to raise us. So she's also a huge part as to who we are as kids and people, and just raising us to be polite, respectful, all those things. So yeah, I absolutely love my mom. So much credit goes out to her. So
the draft is going to be obviously in Vegas this year. Everyone has those kind of milestone moments when you go through the draft. What was your most vivid memory of your draft day?
I would say hearing my name called, it was crazy. I didn't know what to do. I had so many friends and family and support with me there at the draft, and it took me forever to get down to the table because I was giving hugs, and everybody was happy for me, proud of me, and yeah, I think just that moment, hearing my name called and walking down those stairs and shaking everyone's hand at the table, I think that was probably the coolest thing, just to be in that moment, and it's real, and it's happening. It's a dream that you've always wanted as you know, a 6-year-old looking up at the TV watching, you know, Pittsburgh play Toronto or whatever growing up. So yeah, it was really cool.
Did you think the Wild were gonna take you, or what was your conversations going into the draft?
Yeah, so I had no idea where I was gonna go, where I was gonna fall. But what I can say is my meeting that I had with Minnie at the combine was awesome. It was by far my best meeting, and it was really cool. It started with, you know, Billy not being in the room, and I couldn't, you know, there's just one chair that was empty and everybody was not doing anything, and he kind of came flying in through the curtain, and he's like, where is he? Where is he? And then he's like, nice to meet you, Hunter. I'm Billy. And I was just like, what is going on? But no, it was really cool. It was, you know, it was a fun environment that, you know, I stepped into that room and it was just, you know, it felt right. And I was really comfortable in that meeting. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't really have an indication that the Wild were going to pick me, but I was happy that they did, and I absolutely love it there. So.
What's the weirdest question they asked you?
I don't know. They asked me a car questions, which, you know, no surprise there, but I guess that's not a weird one. But
maybe not limited to the Wild either. Like, were there any just like, what is going on kind of questions?
I mean, there's animal questions. They always ask. I don't know why, but I was talking to Zayne about this too. He got an animal question. They ask you what type of animal you are on the ice, what type of animal you are off the ice. And I don't know, it's kind of weird, but yeah.
What animals are you?
I just said a wolf. You know, it's a pack mentality thing. You know, there's leadership throughout a wolf pack, and just really good qualities of a wolf, I guess. That's just what came to the top of my head at the time.
I guess the big question this year was like, what's your Uber rating? You know, so
yeah, and I couldn't tell you. I don't have the app. I don't have Uber Eats. I don't know how all that stuff works yet. So I got to figure that stuff out.
Do you think when Billy came in late, he was kind of like testing to see your reaction? I think that was part of like the mental games there. I think he was just like,
yeah, I think so. Like, I was asking around other guys. I'm like, have you met with Minnesota? Like, what did they do for you? Because like the GM wasn't in the room, but I think he did it on purpose. And I was like, because it wasn't like he came through the door. He came through curtains that were, you know, put up. So no, it was really cool, and it was kind of funny. So
now you've been part of like the development process, like who are you been? Is it Bombardier or like Hendricks, or who's kind of been your go-to guy, and like what are the influence there? Like what kind of like feedback or things you help you work on?
Yeah, so it's all three of them. It's Cody McLeod, Matt Hendricks, and Bomber. We have a group chat there, and basically, you know, every week they're checking in. I'm checking in. You know, just talking about my games, what I did well, what I didn't, what I need to improve on, what I'm going to focus on in practice. You know, for the upcoming games, and then just overall how I'm feeling about, you know, my confidence level, how I feel about, you know, my play, what I'm doing out there. And yeah, I mean, they're absolutely awesome. All three of them. They're so, you know, positive when it comes to, you know, criticism, and you know, it's not criticism. It's stuff that's going to help me. Right. And they go about it in a great way, and they're, you know, they have positive impact on everything that they say. So yeah, I absolutely love having those guys, and love being able to lean on them for, you know, anything I need in terms of, you know, my game, ask them questions, call them, text them, whatever.
How do you feel about your game right now, or where you're at in your development? I think it's 68 points this year, so point per game. I don't know if you wanted 100 or how much you wanted this year, but like, what was your feeling on where you're at now in terms of?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's never really been about putting up as many points as I can. I mean, that's obviously great. But at the end of the day, to get to the next level, for me anyway, it comes down to details and habits. I wanted to, as a centerman, I wanted to, dial in on my faceoffs and positionally be aware in terms of defensive zone, having a good stick, not letting guys get to the net. And I think developing all those things, all those small details in my game, I think that's going to better help transition to the pros. I mean, they're bigger, stronger, faster. And, I think building on those details and those habits are what's going to get me to the next level. It's not just putting up points. So that's how I view it anyway.
Nice. And any other prospects like at dev camp that stood out to you, or guys that you kind of latched onto right away as being buddies?
Yeah, I mean, didn't really get to see him too often, but Liam Ohgren, he's a great kid. He's super nice, and he's obviously a great player. And when we were at camp this year together, we were lucky enough to be going, in the 3-on-3 playing with each other, and there's chemistry that was there right away, and it was really fun to see. We'd make a play, we'd score on it, and we'd kind of look at each other and be like, this is going to be fun come a couple years down the road. So it's great.
We love that. And would you like to just apologize in advance to play-by-play, to media members for the whole Height conundrum?
I don't know. I don't know. I find it pretty easy to differentiate between the two, but it's kind of funny watching back and hearing commentators mess it up, and I'd have the puck and they'd say Height, and then he'd have the puck and say Haight. It's kind of funny.
Just I guess help us with the nicknames. Is it Heighter and Hater, or like what's how do you go about the?
Yeah, so they were calling Riley, they were calling him Heighter, but they also, like the dub guys, for example, they also said Heighter, and that was for me too. But I'm like, it's Hater. I'm like, that's the easiest way to differentiate between the two. But sometimes it's just like it's Hunts or whatever. But I always turn my head every time. So.
What do you think of Riley as a player? Like, we had him on our podcast too, and he enjoyed kind of playing with you at the development camp as well. Like, what do you think about him as a player?
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously had a great season there in the W. He's a great player. He's very, very smart playmaker. He finds lanes. The prospect tournament, it was really fun to play with him. He's gritty. I think it was myself, Sammy Walker, and I had Riley on my left side for those prospect games. And it was like we'd played together for a long time. So again, it was just, really fun. It's always fun playing with guys where, you can just read off each other and it just works. And he's a great player.
I know you played some wing a little bit. Do you still envision yourself obviously as center at the next level? Is that what they've been kind of telling you? They want you to still play up the middle?
Yeah, I haven't had too much conversation in terms of that solidifying anything or whatever. But my goal is to I'm naturally a center, and that's why I'm practicing so hard on my face-offs and wanting to focus on those habits and details like I mentioned, because that's what I need to do if I want to play at that next level as a centerman. There's no margin for error in those things, especially in the D zone. So that's my plan anyway. But at the same time, getting that playoff experience this year in the OHL as a winger was huge in terms of seeing the game from a different side and being able to play a different position. I think the versatility, will be huge for me moving up, because there's no guarantee that I'll be a centerman. So.
Well, I don't know if you saw what happened when Murat Huznadinov came over, but working on your faceoffs is apparently the quickest path to becoming a fan favorite. He won 2 faceoffs in a row, and fans went berserk. And all he could do is laugh about it after the fact. He's like, "Oh, 2 faceoffs! Whoa!"
Yeah.
So they appreciate when centers can win faceoffs. It's more of the joke, but I'm sure it has to be cool to see some of these prospects make their debuts, right? Like you mentioned Ohgren, he played down the stretch there. Kusadinov got a chance to play, and you're starting to see some of the future of this organization come through. Have you pay attention to a lot of that stuff, or when you see a guy like you part of the prospect camp make a debut, kind of
Yeah.
a little bit?
I mean, I wouldn't say like I go out looking for it, but I obviously, see it, and it's cool, going through the same processes as them in these past years in terms of development camps and going to main camps, and it's everybody's dream, right? So it's awesome to see someone in our prospect pool make that jump, and obviously happy for them, and hopefully that's me soon at some point.
Are you a golfer at all? Are you a big
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah, I'm getting into golf more and more as I'm getting older here, but yeah.
We have a last question for you, a golf-related question. So we wanted to at least see if you played golf first before that was the case. But go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, so we've got our Waggle golf question. Everyone go to getyourwaggleon.com. Drop in promo code SP10 to take 10% off your entire order. Hunter, who would be the 3 people that would round out your dream golf foursome? And this can be athletes, celebrities, dead or alive, doesn't matter.
I'd probably Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, because he's Tiger, and probably Sidney Crosby. He was like my first, idol of the game, and reason I kind of fell in love with hockey. I've got my size 6 jersey that fit me when I was 2 years old, and whatever. But yeah, probably those 3.
Okay, who's in the cart with you?
Probably Tiger. Yeah. I'd probably just, let him hit, and then I'll drop beside him and hit from where he's hitting.
Yeah, playing best ball with Tiger Woods and
Tiger,
Jordan would be a great.
Yeah,
I'll vote for a scramble any day with that. But thank you so much for joining us. I know you had a busy week with the celebration and the parades and all that, but congratulations, obviously, on a finish there, and we'll see you obviously in development camp and in camp for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.